Here we go. Bum, 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 bum. Okay. What's up, guys? Today we will be learning about the one and only Winston. So I want to talk about specifically attacking with Winston on Watch Point Gibraltar. Let's skip ahead here. Pause this real quick. Actually, go over to me. Oh no! Alright.
Ready for battle.
We can work with this. Okay. So I want to talk about Winston and Watch Point Gibraltar and attacking real quick. He is one of my favorite characters to play on Watch Point Gibraltar as a tank. And I kind of want to get into why right now. So, the reason Winston is so incredibly strong on this map is one, you want high mobility tanks on any ground or like any map where there's like high amounts of verticality. Um, you know, getting up to this high ground as Ryan is a pain in the butt. Getting up here as Arissa is a pain in the butt. I think Winston's mobility is really emphasized by that. But more importantly, I actually want to talk about mistakes that a lot of enemy teams make all the way up until like the utter highest limits of the game. Unless you're literally playing against like a coordinated team, these mistakes will almost always be made in every game you'll see. So typically a defense sets up something like this. I think every Watch Point Gibraltar game I've ever played has set up something like this, barring them like negotiating setting up like some sort of bastion comp. Typically everyone is just kind of on the high ground but spread out. Seems pretty normal. And what happens is the big mistake that teams make is they're not really coordinated in how they're going to defend each other. Like a conversation that never occurs is what happens if Zenyatta gets attacked right now? Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Who's supposed to help him? Is Moira going to help him? Is Zarya going to be ready for him? Or is Zarya going to jump down here and try to fight them? That kind of conversation never occurs. And it's what leads to the downfall of a lot of enemy teams on this map, just constantly all the time. But what you can do as Winston is you can separate and isolate enemy teams and then take the best possible fight. Because what will happen is a fight starts and some players might jump down here to the low ground, some players might just stay up here, some players might fall back. And when that happens, when the teams get uncoordinated like that, it allows Winston to isolate them and take the 1v1s that he wants, or take good team fights that he wants. So let's get into it. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, hello there. 1. Attackers incoming.
Probably not the best strategy to not be ready to go when the game starts. So real quick, the first thing that I always like to do, and mind you, I'm the red team right now. Let me get to first person point of view. So mind you, the first thing I like to do is get up to high ground. I think you have two options when you're doing that. The first one is where I jumped right here. I did that because I saw this Genji that was already there and he was by himself, and typically I can get them to waste cooldowns right away. The other option, if it looks like the enemy team has this well protected or there's a lot of damage coming in that way, is to literally just go around through here. Either coming through this way and going up to this high ground, waiting for your cooldown, and then you can jump from there, or you can come up this way and then jump across. Once you use Winston's mobility, once you make that jump, I typically want to position myself somewhere that I know I'll be safe when I land, that I can wait for a couple of seconds, and it'll give a few seconds off for my cooldown to be back up. Because once you have that jump cooldown, you can go wherever you want. So making sure that you're safe when you land for a couple seconds is very important, and timing your jump so that you're landing somewhere where you know you're not just going to get immediately exploded is very, very, very important. But here I think, oh yeah, this Genji was way out of position. I remember this game now. So I end up taking out Genji right away. He's just really out of position. And now it's just all about finding the right fight. Right here we're going to be playing the low ground, but I'll make my way to the high ground as soon as I see any isolated target. So right there, I actually notice, I'll show you exactly where I see it. So right here, you can see the Hanzo, and you can see the Zen, and they're alone for the most part. Everyone's down here. Moira's not going to heal them. Zarya's not going to bubble them. They're alone. This is, ignore the Genji that died in the beginning. This is typically what this map, looks like. And I just want to talk about. I'm 100% going to jump up at this Hanzo. And I'll explain why. So yeah. Okay, so the difference between jumping on this Hanzo and jumping on this Zen is very important. So when I jump on this high ground in particular, uh, Zen can't hurt me. It's just gonna be me and Hanzo. I'm sure I'm gonna wait for like a half second too as I land. So I imagine I'm gonna pull back. I'm not actually gonna chase Hanzo here. Okay, good. And what I do is I'm literally just stalling a couple of seconds while my cooldown for my jump comes back up. And what's happening is it also, when I jump on this high ground, the effect of Zen also not being able to help the Hanzo and no one being able to help the Hanzo, it allows Zen to make a mistake here. He's already separated from his team, but he has to now make a decision. And once he makes that decision, I can decide what type of team fight I want to take. If he has basically two options, he can go with Hanzo here and protect him, in which case I'll ignore them, which looks like probably what's going to happen. Or he can jump down to his team. And if he jumps down to his team, he's going to be so far out of position because his team has already jumped down there and he waited way too long to go help, that it'll be a terrible team fight. I almost guarantee them probably jumping down that way. But now those two are just completely isolated. Yeah. So now these guys have just no protection from Zen, no protection from Hanzo. If Zen and Hanzo come back, I'm going to just jump back up, and my team's going to take this fight down here the whole time. And if not, we'll just fight down here. I imagine, so I go back up here to check, and I'm just going to chase Hanzo down. Where did Zen died? Someone got the pick on Zen? Yeah, Zen died. I missed it. And now the Hanzo's just isolated, and my team fight's taking a team where they have just no DPS. And that's kind of the secret to taking Gibraltar in this first point. And it's pretty much over at this point. The first point's gone. Just straight back up to high ground. I'm going to wait a half second and let my cooldowns reset. But everything now is, I mean, this is as clean as it's going to get. Our whole team, just once you have this angle on Gibraltar, it's pretty much over. The enemy team can't get through. They're going to get stuck. And it's pretty much over, I imagine. Right? Yeah, once you have this angle on Gibraltar, it's just game over. And the first point's just taken because our team's just blasting them from every single angle and they're stuck in their spot. But hopefully that was remotely educational for you. Taught you something on Winston. And everyone just have a good day. Thanks.